One time, yeah.
Why the highway, of all places? Why?
Because
Why
we
the
got
highway?
you here, that's why.
I think with the highway, what was so impactful about that is that it caused an instant disruption in people's lives. I think one thing that we kind of keep saying is that it's supposed to be inconvenient. There was no convenience to the situation. People had to pay attention. We talked about the fact that it was going to be a news hour because it's rush hour traffic. People are on the way, coming from work, this, that, and the other. So the highway was a way for us to say that we're going to be disruptive. When Dee was saying about Black Lives Matter, people are saying, it's kind of inconvenient to be on the highway. Well, we're talking about Black lives, trans lives, Latino lives, being more significant than you going to daycare kind of thing. So that's why I would say the highway was like, why not the highway? More so than why the highway.
Just the one thing that, because I think since this event has happened, we've all been getting flack, we've been getting feedback. Some of it is bigger than members have had, people make troll accounts just to kind of mess with them all day. But at the end of the day, this has been an action to raise awareness, not just about Ferguson and the Mike Brown and Valdera Myers incidents straight out of STL, but also police brutality affecting bodies of color around the nation. There's a need right now for change. There's a need for radical, immediate action to eradicate a lot of these problems, and that doesn't come with complacency, and it doesn't come with convenience. So there's an intention. There's a kind of a statement that's made when there are people willing to put their bodies on the line in a very dangerous situation, in a very tense, tension-filled situation, in order to raise awareness. Because people were saying, it was stupid, you didn't get anything done. But at the end of the day, for at least 48 hours, people were talking about, media outlets were talking about the Ferguson events, and media outlets and people from all over the city were talking about Michael Brown and rediscussing something that had kind of been swept under the rug in the South a little bit because it wasn't in anyone's face, so we put it back in their faces.
Right. And I just want to talk about intentionality. When you talked about the planning, we were very intentional about which highway we chose,
Yes.
which exit we chose.
Freedom Parkway.
Right, which was the Freedom Parkway exit, right? So we mapped out different highways. We actually went and walked onto these ramps and highways beforehand. So there was a lot of intention behind choosing an exit. That location was very specific because downtown Atlanta is the center of where government operations happen. So when we talk about the institutions that are affecting Black people's lives and making policy decisions, right? We're looking at the state capitol, which is downtown. We're looking at the jail center. We're looking at the immigration detention center and the courts that are down there. The white wealthy people who have the power to make decisions over our lives are usually leaving from downtown to go north to their protected white suburbs, which is on 85 North, which is why we particularly targeted Freedom Parkway headed northbound, not southbound. So we were not intending to disrupt the lives of poor working class Black folks, although we could not control who got caught up in that traffic. So there's a difference between reform and revolution. Revolution is the goal. Reform is the change that makes it easier for us to survive until the revolution comes. That is the role of policy. So when we say Black Lives Matter, we recognize that that extends beyond police brutality. It's about the way that the state enacts violence against us when Governor Nathan Deal refuses federal funds to expand Medicaid, leaving 212,000 Black people without health care in Georgia. We understand that it is state violence when more funds are given to prisons than they're given to schools.
Yes, ma'am.
We understand that state violence is Georgia having the highest unemployment rate and Black people being disproportionately affected by that. We need to use policy to redirect the money. I cannot agree with people who choose not to vote because I'm too concerned with my sisters and women who are dependent on welfare as we have a conservative government who's trying to take the money out of their hands and put it in private prisons. We have a private probation system in Georgia that makes $40 million a year by getting poor people to pay for their freedom, whether they're guilty or not. You still have to pay the money to bail yourself out. That is extortion. We have a traffic court system that takes $22 million out of the black people's hands each year in Georgia. Just in Georgia alone, $22 million by extorting money out of this country's poorest people. That is state violence. And so we need our politicians to be in position to change that policy and redirect those funds where they need to be. Invest our money not into social control, but into social programs.
Well, one big thing is like I wasn't afraid at all. People keep asking, oh, were you afraid? Were you scared? I'm just like, no, I had my sisters with me on the highway. Like people were behind me screaming for me. I could hear the voices literally screaming my name, like go, 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 like fight for freedom kind of thing. Like we were in a human chain. And the energy literally was like just kind of flowing through us. So as we were screaming and yelling and doing the chants, it just felt like liberation. It felt so powerful. I felt so free. I wasn't afraid at all. Like literally, I didn't fear anything. Like I just felt like I could do this forever. Cause I had a reason to be doing it. I wasn't out here because, you know, I lost my lunch money or something, you know, small like that. I was out here because I have 3 younger brothers who I value. And I called them the night before. I told them, I said, I love you so much. And whatever I do for you. And that was the power that I had within me. Last year, when Trayvon Martin was killed and George Zimmerman got let off and he was free, that impacted lives of my neighbors, my roommates, people that I know very much. And so that's what I carried with me on that freeway. So the fear was stepping off and still being in danger. I wasn't in danger there on the highway. I was with my people. I was okay. I was taken care of. So it felt amazing.
On the highway. Wow. I'll start off by saying, first of all, I felt so protected. Being in the chain with my powerful brothers and sisters, I felt like nothing could break us, nothing could tear us apart. There were people driving by with me being on the end, yelling, angry. Sometimes, you know, I would look over and I wanted to just shout out to, you know, my other black brothers and sisters driving by that were angry and yelling at us. I wanted to shout out, like, we're doing this for you. But I just held it in because I said, you know what, they're gonna see it. They're gonna see it later. But I just felt so powerful. And all I kept thinking to myself, like, I just wish that other black and brown bodies could feel the way I feel right now. If we all stood together and if we all did that, they would never know who was leading. They would never know who all was a part of it because it would be billions and billions of us and we would be unstoppable. Yeah. So that's all I kept thinking about, and I would do it again in a heartbeat.
Cool.
Well, I guess I want to just give kudos to everybody that's on the front line with me because it really did build like a family dynamic. Like we became instant brothers and sisters. Like we were so close. It felt like nobody could, like you said, break our bond. And I don't know, I guess I didn't share the same fearlessness at first. When we got out of the car, it was like an adrenaline high and I was happy, but I was like what's gonna happen? Like this is big. I knew at that moment, like this is big. Like my feet are on the concrete of the highway. Like something is going to happen today and I'm just ready. But when we did link up and I was on the other end and I just felt happy because there were people coming off from the rally onto the highway and asking if they could join us, and it just made me feel like, yeah, like this is what we wanted. Like we didn't want it just to be us that originally, you know, got on the highway. We wanted you guys to feel like you want to join the movement as well, because at the end of the day, that's what we want. Like we want everybody to feel this spirit. It's not a selfish, it's not a spotlight kind of thing. It's for everybody to come together and realize that with numbers we can move mountains. And so when you ask us if we want people to join us, of course. Like we want people to come out to our meetings. We want people to come out and be on those conference calls. We want people to, like, we all are different organizations, but we all can come together for one cause, which is we're sick and we're tired of living our lives in just this blank. We want change. We need change. It's no longer a want.
It's just love. It was just love. And I remember like just the cars were honking and you hear sirens and I just looking at my sisters and my brothers and they're just so calm. And they're so, I was so full. and I had my camera out and I was screaming, and I remember somebody screaming, "You can't stop the revolution."
I wasn't scared to get on the highway. I know that whole morning I had to wake up to be at work at 6, so I was just kind of getting myself ready. I was real serious. Couldn't really smile at people. But when we got there, it was just energy. And I kept thinking to myself that we have to yell louder, have to be louder. Like, people need to hear me. Like, they need to hear us. They need to hear what we're here for. And I just wanted to reach as many people as possible, because I think people see us on the highway and they see the youth in Ferguson and they think, I don't have a voice. I'm not a leader. I can't do that. But you don't have to. You don't have to be out there like that. You can join the revolution in any role that plays on your strengths. If you're a lawyer, work on the law side. If you're quiet, work in the background, help organize, help get people there.
We are a group of different organizations. We are the Black community.
Yeah.
True.
That's what we represent.
Yes.
That's who we are. So when you look for us, look for the community. That's where we'll be.
Right here in these streets.
Got you. Well, appreciate you guys taking some time to chat with us.
Thank you.
Hey, and we'll see you in the community.